In the land of Lagos, where towers touch the sky and dreams wear designer clothes, there once lived a young woman who had everything the world could give except the truth about who she really was. This is the story of Amora. But the world knew her as Amora, the Lagos big girl. The one who forgot her name and paid the price in front of a mirror that lied. Amora lived in a glass apartment in Victoria Island. Her walls were gold-trimmed. Her bedspread imported from Italy. Her closet was filled with wigs named after months: January bone straight, July pixie curls, December kinky curls. She didn't walk, she arrived. And her Instagram? Let's just say, some people lived in Lagos. But Lagos lived on her page. Her followers called her Queen of Soft Life. But what they didn't know was that her roots were buried under red mud deep in Ojuala village, far from lights, far from lies. You see, Amora was once a barefoot girl raised by her grandmother, Mama Efe, the last herbalist of her kind. But when Amora tasted city life, she spat out her village tongue and threw away her name like old rapper. One Friday night, Amora stood on a luxury yacht in Lekki. Her red dress clung to her body like flame. Her face was beat to perfection, and the lights bounced off her skin like gold. She was taking selfies when her phone buzzed. One message. No profile picture. No name. The owl sees all. Return what was stolen. Or face the mirror. She laughed. Blocked the number. Took her picture anyway and posted it online with a caption: "Some of us don't chase clout. We attract it. #rich vibes only." But when she turned around to fix her hair, she saw something. Her reflection in the yacht window was smiling, but she was not. Back home, her famous mirror, the one all her fans knew, had a strange crack in the top left corner. She didn't remember it being there. She stood in front of it, fixing her lashes. But her reflection blinked before she did. The next day, she lost 12,000 followers. The day after, a brand dropped her. Her photos started to look faded. Her glow gone. Even her skin began to lose its luster, and every night, the dreams came: a wide tree, a forest, an owl watching her with red eyes, and a voice whispering in Igbo, "Orgum, return before your shadow walks without you." 5 years ago, during her last visit to the village, Amora had entered her grandmother's sacred room. There, under a clay pot, she found a pendant. Cowries, red thread, and something ancient. She took it. No permission. No question. That same night, her first video went viral. From then on, her life changed. But so did her soul. Now scared, Amora rushed to a prophetess in Suru-Lere. An old woman with skin like bark and eyes like glass. Without even asking her name, the woman spoke: "You wear what you do not own. You shine with a stolen sun. Return it before the moon disappears." Amora packed her bag. No wigs. No heels. Just the pendant. And the fear in her chest. The road to Ojuala was long. The air smelled like rain and old secrets. When she arrived, even the trees seemed to remember her. Children pointed. Elders whispered. But one person said nothing. Mama Efe lay on a bamboo mat, too weak to move. Her voice, almost gone: "Amora, did you bring it? Mama, I didn't know. I didn't mean to take it. It is not about what you meant. It is about what you carry. Return it. Under the airway tree. And speak. Speak who you are." And so, under a full moon, with dust on her feet and shame in her heart, the girl who forgot her name stood before the ancient tree, not as a big girl, not as a queen of filters and followers, but as Amora, the daughter of the soil. They say the earth remembers, that the trees never forget, that every stolen whisper, every unspoken name, still floats somewhere in the wind. And so, on the night of the full moon, the girl who once called herself Amora, the Lagos big girl, returned to where she had once belonged. But belonging does not come without a price. The moon hung high above Ojuala, casting silver light over the ancient yew tree. Its roots twisted like old stories, and its branches stretched like arms calling to the sky. Amorachi stood before it barefoot. The white wrapper clung to her skin. Her wig was gone. Her makeup wiped clean. In her hands, the pendant, the same pendant she had stolen 5 years ago. That had given her beauty, fame, followers. And now, a curse, she knelt before the tree, placed the pendant at its roots, and with trembling voice, she began to speak. My name is Amorachi. I forgot who I was. I chased things that fade. I wore other people's glory. I spoke lies to the world, and I turned my back on you. Suddenly, the air shifted. From behind the tree, shadows moved. They came one by one. Glowing figures made of moonlight and ash. Some wore masks. Some had no faces. Some floated. Others danced slowly in circles. They were the spirits of the ancestors, the keepers of the lineage, the voices of the soil, the watchers of forgotten things. You come with stolen breath. You wear the name of a stranger. Why should we not strip you of what remains? Amora shook, falling flat to the ground. She covered her face. Forgive me. I was blind. I did not know what I carried. Then, the owl appeared, perched on a branch above the yew tree. Its eyes glowed red, wise, ancient, watching. You took what was sacred, not to protect it, but to profit from it. You left your people. You left your truth, and you became a ghost in a golden city. But you returned. A gust of wind swirled around her. The spirits danced faster. The earth beneath her feet felt alive, and suddenly, her mirror, the one in Lagos, cracked completely, shattering in her memory. Mema Efe, now awake, stepped out from the trees. Her body bent with age, but her voice, strong as thunder, dance, Amorachi, dance with your shame, dance with your truth, dance, so they may see your soul. Amora stood, slowly, afraid, but she began to move, barefoot in the dust. She turned, she wept as she danced, she shook as she danced, and as her feet moved, her layers peeled, not her clothes, but her pride, her lies, her filters, her fake laugh, all falling off like dry leaves. One by one, the spirits stepped forward. They placed their hands on her shoulders, on her head, on her chest. She remembers. She has named herself. She has named herself. She may rise. The owl flew down and placed the pendant in her palm, but now it glowed differently, not with glamour, but with grace. Take it, not for beauty, but for wisdom, not for power, but for purpose. The sun broke through the trees. The spirits were gone, the drums silent, and Amorachi stood not as a big girl, but as a reborn daughter of her land. Some say the ancestors still watch her, that the owl sometimes lands near her window when she speaks truth, that the wind carries her voice when she tells others to remember who they are. But what we know for sure is that this was not the end, for the soil had forgiven her, but the city had not. A journey ends not when the feet stop walking, but when the soul finds peace. After her cleansing under the yew tree, Amorachi was no longer the girl who fled her past. She was now the woman who had faced it, danced with it, and returned to claim her voice. But peace is not a gift. It is a battle. And Lagos was not finished with her. Amorachi sat by the window of a crowded bus heading back into Lagos. Her scarf was wrapped. Her face, bare, her phone, silent, no filters, no face beats, no fans. Outside the window, the city crept in, street hawkers, traffic jams, sky-high buildings. And memories. She looked at the screen that once controlled her life. No apps opened. No camera flipped. The pendant now rested over her heart, not to dazzle, but to protect. Its glow was gone. But its power remained. Amora walked into the glossy office of her former brand partner, the one who dropped her when things began to crack. The receptionist stared, not with admiration, but confusion. This wasn't the influencer they remembered. You finally crawled back. Amora smiled gently, but firmly. I came to return what doesn't belong to me. She reached into her bag and placed 3 things on the table: the brand contract, the broken mirror piece she once carried, and a small calabash, sealed with red wax. What's that? Another ritual for followers? Amarachi stood straight. It's the truth, and it doesn't fit your brand. By the time she stepped out, the gossip had already spread, group chats exploded. Screenshots. Mockery, she's lost it. She went native. She's doing juju. Even her former best friend Zizi posted a subtle jab. Some people will dance naked under trees and call it healing. Omo, Lagos no get time for theatrics. And for the first time, it didn't break her, because Amarachi now knew. That losing noise is how you hear your real voice. That night, in her old apartment, Amarachi stood before the shattered mirror. The reflection that once lied was gone. In its place stood a vision, clear, simple, powerful. Her eyes met themselves. And this time, they did not flinch. You have remembered. Now, remain. The pendant shimmered once more, then dimmed. Forever, its work was done. Months passed. And Amarachi no longer trended, but she transformed. She started a podcast called Rooted. She told African stories, taught children proverbs, spoke truth without trying to impress. No sponsorships. No wigs. No clout, just voice. And truth. There's a mirror in all of us. And some of us have let it lie for too long. But today, I tell mine the truth. I am Amarachi, I am the soil's daughter, and I am free. Somewhere in a classroom in the village, a group of girls listen to her story playing from a dusty radio. One of them smiles and says, "One day, I'll tell my story too." And that is the tale of the Lagos big girl who broke the mirror and found her name beneath the dust. Let her story remind us all that no matter how far you go, the earth waits. The ancestors remember. And the truth will always call you back.